welcome to this video. Alright, whew. So, man, I had to like flip the camera around because I cannot look at myself right now because my hyperactivity has been on very high alert today. Not even high, I don't know what the actual right terminology for that would be, but it is like overboard right now. Like this hyperactivity is like insane for me right now. So I had to flip the camera around so I can't look at myself because I keep on losing my mind. Okay, so yeah, the reason for this insanity, by the way, is because Uranus just went retrograde yesterday, August 7th. And so yeah, now Uranus is stationary retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde until January 6th of 2019. So it moves retrograde back into Aries, and it gets it back into Aries on November 6th of 2018. So yeah, right now Uranus is like just having our most eccentric side come out like really strong, and just the zaniness, the like insanity even, our uniqueness is showing right now. So yeah, I couldn't even take myself seriously starting this video. It was very difficult to even get started. But anyways, there is a new Moon Partial Solar Eclipse happening at 2:57 a.m. Pacific time. And the partial eclipse itself is, I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but I calculated this to the exact moment of the new moon, which is when the moon is exactly conjunct the sun. So, the new moon itself will be at 18 degrees, 41 minutes of Leo. The north node is at 5 degrees, 54 minutes of Leo. And then Mercury is at 14 degrees, 42 minutes of Leo, and it is retrograde, and it's conjunct the new moon. Partial solar eclipse. So, this is a time of expressing your innermost feelings, and it's a time of listening more deeply to yourself. Because basically Mercury, when it's retrograde, has us go within ourselves a little more and try to kind of go within your own mind a little more, and kind of, you know, because it's, you know, the sun and the moon, the most personal planets happening, you know, on the day of the new moon, it's a time of like self-reflection. And so this is an interesting time to really dig deeper within yourself and express something more fully about yourself. Be more yourself, and just, yeah, like kind of be more receptive to your innermost feelings, your heart, and find more creativity from within yourself even. And listening to your inner child even, actually, like doing some inner child exercises could be helpful right now, like asking yourself, how can you have more fun? And what it is that your inner child really wants too. Like that's kind of something that I'm feeling is possible. And if you have children, it could also be about listening to your children and, you know, asking more of what it is that they want and what it is they need emotionally. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, Mars retrograde is at 0 degrees, 20 minutes of Aquarius. And, you know, it actually moves into Capricorn relatively soon. I think, yeah, I can't remember. I looked it up, but I forgot now what it was. I think it was like either August 13th or August 15th, I think, that Mars moves back into Capricorn. But right now it is conjunct the south node in Aquarius. And what it has been having us do is kind of look at what our real dreams are, what what are we really driven to do? Like, what is driving us? And also looking at our ego more objectively, like, is our ego taking us in the right direction? Is it taking us towards our dreams, our real dreams, our wishes, our hopes, what we really desire? Or is it just following a program that was inserted by society? And so right now it's a time of reflecting on that and asking yourself what your real desires are, what your real dreams are, what your real like wishes are, and like reflecting on that a bit more and kind of like going within yourself to understand what your motivations are. Because when it goes direct again, then you can get back on track with where to put your energy, because Mars is what really drives us and what fuels our passions, fuels our actions. And if we're just following our ego impulses, which usually when it comes to ego impulses, it's things that were instilled in us, falsely. It's not like our real true drive. It's more like, what society wants of us, or what we think we need to be like, or the thing we need to do, in order to, fit in or whatever. So it's like, having us reflect on that so that so that we can actually have the energy to do the shit that we need to do. Because really, it's like, okay, all right, if you're doing the wrong thing, you're not gonna like feel that motivated to do the wrong thing. You're gonna be like, my ego wants this, but I'm not really feeling it. I don't know, I'm just kind of doing this thing because I think that's what I'm supposed to do. But if you actually know what it is you want, know what your true dream is, and be like, you know what? This is what I need to do, like, instead of this other shit that I thought I was supposed to do because someone told me that's what I was supposed to do. If you know exactly what it is you want, you're gonna go for that goddamn dream, Damn, man, I did not expect that to come forward. That was good. But yeah, that's exactly the message I've been getting, is like, hey, focus on what your real dream is. Don't focus on this other shit that you think you need to do just because somebody told you that's what you need to do. I don't know. That's what I think it's about. All right. Moving on to the other thing going on here is Neptune in Pisces is sextile Pluto in Capricorn. They're both retrograde, and they are both in conjunct this eclipse, and Mercury retrograde. So this yod that's been going on, they're different yods because Venus was involved first, then it was Mercury, and then it was Mercury again, and now the solar eclipse is involved. So there is something going on that needs to be brought into the light, okay? Something maybe involving authority figures, maybe involving society, involving the collective. Something in our world has something dark brewing underneath the surface that needs to be exposed, brought into the light. And I actually did come across some weird information. Now, I don't know if it's true, and that's like why I don't really want to talk about it exactly, but there's some interesting allegations that have been brought forward that really correlate with this yod. So I thought that was pretty weird. But anyways, there could be a multitude of things that need to be brought to light right now. But there's ultimately this brewing of darkness. And the reason why I say that is because, Neptune and Pisces are both correlated with the 12th house, which is the unconscious mind, the collective unconscious even. So it's like everything that's swept under the rug, everything we're running away from, all that stuff. Pluto in Capricorn is like the powers that be, the authority figures, the, darkness of that even, because Pluto, of course, is the underworld. It's kind of similar in a weird way. Like, it's more of a subconscious thing, but it can also be, obviously it's the underlying darkness of the systems and the structures that are in place at this time. And especially of the structures of our authority figures and all that stuff. So they are, you know, they're like, it's like this bubbling of that stuff coming to the surface right now with this yod, you know, the finger of God is what it's called. It's like we need to become aware of something and express something, shine light on that underlying stuff going on. So yeah, I mean, this could be applied to probably a lot of different things going on in our society today, in our world today, that, you know, insert whatever, and it's probably could be applied. But yeah, intense stuff, I'll tell you that though. But anyways, obviously there's some stuff that needs to be brought forward. And then Mercury, the Sun, and Moon in Leo are all square Jupiter in Scorpio. And Jupiter is at 14 degrees 49 minutes of Scorpio, so it's very closely square to Mercury right now. So this is definitely, you know, it could be about travel too, like with Jupiter involved, but basically it is becoming more widely aware of the subconscious transformations and like different things like going on, you know, things that are not fully brought into the conscious awareness quite yet. But anyways, it's being brought into this conscious awareness, and it could be very, like basically with Mercury retrograde squaring Jupiter, it's like deeper feelings, deeper emotions are brewing, and you are able to maybe tap into that right now. More of this, so I've been trying to like really pin down what this Jupiter in Scorpio is, and it's like a death and rebirth of our egos, our beliefs, and it's kind of like where we can be arrogant or think we know everything. And with it in Scorpio, it's like, okay, we're gonna learn something that is like maybe just, that really takes us, I want to say by surprise, but that's more of a Uranus thing. But maybe when Uranus moves into later, no, Jupiter will move on by then. But anyways, the way I feel is like it's gonna like show us something that we didn't know earlier, and it's like kind of, it's gonna transform us ultimately, and it's going to kind of like have our egos like die off a little bit, or like we may need to release something that we've been attached to, like belief wise, that has like, you know, kept us optimistic potentially, where it's actually not necessarily helping us though. Maybe it's creating an arrogance or something maybe like to do with like other countries, or, you know, the wider world that we live in. Maybe there's something that we don't know that we need to know, and maybe, you know, I don't know, who knows? Maybe I'll learn something in the next couple weeks about something that I didn't know before, and then it'll like kind of pop that bubble that I have at this time. So sometimes I find that when I'm doing my videos, I later will watch, or like I'll think back on them and be like, huh, that actually is weird because that associates with what I said in my video, huh? You know, so who knows what I'll learn in the future, but, and maybe what you'll learn too if you're watching this video, because, you know, usually when I do videos, I intend for them to be relevant to the people who watch them. And so people who watch them, hopefully it's relevant to you too. So anyways, I'm getting off track, but anyways, it's gonna pop our bubble. It's gonna like, kind of be like, whoa, you know, like it'll be, I feel like it's gonna be shocking or something. But anyways, it is, yeah, with this Jupiter and Scorpio, it is like a mixed bag of energies. Like I've been trying to like understand it. It's kind of hard to understand because Jupiter is like this optimistic, expansive, you know, happy-go-lucky kind of thing. And then Scorpio is like dark, intense, looking deeply into something, like really like, you gotta look into this dark, deep place to learn something. They're both very spiritual in some sense and very transformative. Both of them kind of have that going on. Like Jupiter's more of expanding, you know, but like, you know, basically it's like an idea of like releasing something in order to expand and transforming yourself in order to like grow. Because yeah, that's how it feels. It's like, you know, it's a time of growth, really, because it's like this shedding of old skins and just needing to, yeah, be more fully in your like soul. So anyway, Uranus, yes, I just talked about Uranus retrograde. So Uranus is in Taurus, and it, you know, on the day of the new moon is at 2 degrees 33 minutes of Taurus, and it trines Saturn, which is at 3 degrees 5 minutes of Capricorn. So with Uranus trine Saturn, I feel like this has been bringing kind of this hectic energy, like somewhat disruptive, somewhat stressful, somewhat pressure kind of feeling going on. And what I think the purpose of this is to show us where it is we need to step up in our responsibilities and where it is we need to free ourselves of restrictions. Because it's like putting this pressure and stress, and it's like, like something's gotta give, you know, like there's like something that needs to change with regards to how you approach your responsibilities and how you like approach your limitations. Because sometimes we can limit ourselves, obviously, you know, that happens quite often, like especially when it comes to what we think we need to do, you know, and I kind of talked about that a little bit in another thing, but like, you know, where it is we decide to focus our energies and concentrate on like, you know, where it is we concentrate and like put our responsibilities, like what it is we're focused on. But yeah, Uranus is like, all right, we need to break free of some of these patterns, these limiting patterns where you're focusing too much on like things that are maybe not that relevant to like your dreams, you know? So it actually kind of, yeah, that's interesting, huh? Reminds me of what I said about Mars conjunct the South Node. But yeah, like we need to break free of some of that. But also, there's a need to become more responsible because maybe there's a lot of disruption going on and like we're not focusing our energies properly on what really needs to happen. So there's kind of a redirect in where we're focusing our energies that needs to occur in order to create more freedom and less limitation. And Uranus is also in conjunct Venus. And Venus moved into Libra on August 6th. So on the day of the new moon, it'll be at 4 degrees 2 minutes of Libra. So with Uranus in conjunct Libra, this is helping us to become aware of like maybe shocking things that we need to know about either how we're relating to others or the people in our lives, the relationships in our lives. So it's going to make us aware of what needs to change perhaps, or what needs to basically, it's going to help us to look more objectively at what needs to change in our relationships. Because with, you know, Uranus going retrograde, it kind of is going to emphasize to the Uranus energy and also allow us to be much more objective. And with inconjunctions, it kind of helps us to become aware of something that was hard to see. Or there might still be that problem of not being able to see what it is that needs to change too, because, well, within conjunctions, it's either like a 1 to 6 or 1 to 8, you know, house-wise. And the 6th house is about service to others. And the 8th house is about what is hidden and in our subconscious mind. So it's kind of a matter of maybe a shifting in responsibility, or it could be a shifting in like becoming aware of shocking information and noticing like what needs to shift possibly in your relationships. So and then it's also, Uranus is also square Mars in Aquarius and the nodes. So this Uranus being square the nodes, it's like this is kind of a more, like it gets us a little more involved in this eclipse season. Uranus has been kind of a heavy player in this, you know, eclipse season. And yeah, ultimately with a square Mars in Aquarius, yeah, it's like, honestly, like, how can we make our dreams more real? How can we take action on our dreams? And, you know, also being aware of what those dreams are, maybe letting go of old dreams or old influences that have not been conducive to you following your dreams or following your heart even. And that whole shindig. And then, so yeah, and then, okay, Venus is opposite Chiron in Aries. So Venus in Libra is opposite Chiron, and they are both square Saturn in Capricorn. This is like not the most positive aspect in the world. Basically, there is some healing that needs to take place, and there's going to be a lot more pressure to bring about healing in your relationships. There's some pain being brought to the surface that needs to be looked at, and like a need to find stability, harmony, and ultimately like just figuring out the responsibilities, like the distribution of responsibilities. Maybe there is this like wounded self aspect going on, like where yeah, like it's just like a wound that's going on. And then like, you know, with Venus and Libra, it's like, I mean, Venus and Libra is usually really awesome, you know, because Venus rules Libra, so it's about harmonizing your relationships. But if they're out of harmony for whatever reason, then it, you know, with Chiron opposing it, Chiron being the wounded healer, it's like our wounds are coming to surface around relationships. And then with them both square Saturn, you know, somehow responsibilities is probably a part of it, or maybe even healing around authority figures. And then Venus is also trine Mars in Aquarius and the South Node, and is sextile the North Node in Leo. So that's the good news, because Venus trine Mars in Aquarius is harmonious, and it is harmonizing the female and male aspects of your relationship, and it'll be easier to relate to other people. And so it might be easier to be there for someone, and maybe you will have to be there for someone because of that, you know, opposition to Chiron. But with this trine to Mars in Aquarius, it does indicate that we might be able to be more helpful to our friends, or like be there for a friend, or, you know, just harmonize more with our friends and have more activities and have fun. And connecting with people ultimately, and connecting with ideas, maybe even taking action on some ideas that you have. And with it sextile the North Node, it's about following your heart, harmonizing and loving and following your heart, being loving and expressing your heart, and harmonizing with the people in your life. and expressing your love to those people. So, in spite of this Chiron opposition square Saturn, there is still love and friendship available, and ultimately I think it's going to be okay. It's just going to be a little bit of a, maybe like some wounds coming to the surface that need to be healed. And then of course Jupiter is very closely trine Neptune. So Neptune is at 15 degrees, 48 minutes of Pisces, while Jupiter is at 14:49 of Scorpio. So they're within 1 degree of each other. And ultimately what is happening here is that we are coming into an expansive awareness of our unconscious minds, our subconscious minds, and there could be deep healing and transformation as well as expansion and awareness of our collective energies. So right now is the time to connect in with your intuition, connect in with the collective, send peace, love, and healing to the collective, and send peace, love, and healing to yourself. And allowing yourself to expand in awareness, become aware of other parts of the world, become aware of other parts of yourself, and learn, you know? That's what life is about, is learning. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have an awesome time.